we move on to our next session, a fireside chat on transforming enterprises with edge and private 5G. I would like to call Prateek Pashine, President, Enterprise Business, Reliance Jio, in conversation with Ibrahim Ahmed, Group Consulting Editor, CyberMedia. Mr. Pashine joined the Reliance family in 2018 and has been working on building the new age enterprise business. Prior to Jio, he has spent over 2 decades with the Tata Group in the Tata Administrative Service starting in 1995 and managed roles in diverse industries, which includes hospitality, software, real estate, and telecom equipment and services. He has been the recipient of the prestigious Fulbright Scholarship and attended Fulbright CII Fellowship Program for Leadership in Management at the Carnegie Mellon University, Pittsburgh in 2006. May I now call upon Mr. Pashine and Ibrahim, our Group Consulting Editor, CyberMedia, who has more than 30 years of experience with CyberMedia in various capacities, the last being Group Editor for Data Quest. Can we have you on stage, please?
Welcome, Prateek, and everybody else on this TLF forum post-lunch session. As Prateek's background was being read out, we all know that he is perhaps the most apt person for this session. A long stint with the Tatas and now with the Jio. He's seen the other side of the table also in Tata's, where he was handling real estate as well as hospitality. So he knows what enterprise business and enterprise demands is all about. So we are going to talk about, hear from Prateek, how's 5G with this double engine, if I may use the word of edge computing power, how is this really going to transform enterprise business users? He's also perhaps the most relevant person to have with us here because of his long-standing association with some of these standardization bodies like Wireless Broadband Alliance and WiMAX Forum, because that gives him an insight as to how's technology evolving and how's the vendors aligning with it. So once again, welcome Prateek on this show. And the first question that I would like to ask you is that, yes, we have heard so much about 5G and it's a reality now, and there's so much happening. Operators are launching across the globe. 5G is being launched. What has been your learning so far as the response from the enterprise users are concerned? And not just enterprise users, I'm saying even small and medium-sized businesses. How are they responding to the 5G services, especially with so much being talked about private 5G?
Thank you, Ibrahim. Thank you for calling me here. If you have to look at the enterprise, I'm going to break it into 3 personas, and I will keep government separate. We'll talk about government later, and then we'll talk of the small medium business. So the 3 types of enterprises that we are encountering as we start this conversation about 5G for enterprise, private 5G. One is those set of customers who have been there, done that. Meaning these are companies who have already adopted 5G in other parts of the world. They are the ones who are showing keen interest because they know what use cases does 5G solve for their specific industries, their specific business. They've tried 5G, they've deployed 5G in factories and mines. They are the first ones off the block. So they are already talking, doing proof of concept, rolling out commercial orders for 5G in India. So that's the first type. The second type of customers that we are interacting, and mind you, these are all large enterprises, are guys who know about 5G, haven't done that, mostly Indian companies, but they see the promise of 5G. And they are engaging in active conversation on, can we do POC? I don't know what use case will work for me, but let's try out few. And that, just because a use case works in other parts of the world doesn't necessarily have to work in India because of the cost economics. cost of labor versus cost of automation. So that's the second set of customers we are seeing, where there's keen interest, they want to deploy, but they want to learn. The third set of customers we are seeing are guys who say, we know there is 5G, but we don't know whether it's relevant for us. So we're getting to interact with all the three sets of customers. When it comes to government, I think it's on steroids. I was talking to a DGIG of police in one of the south states, and I started talking about saying that, we are doing 5G. And he said, stop there. There are two kinds of 5G, standalone and non-standalone mode. There's one company which is doing standalone, whereas everybody else is doing non-standalone. There are benefits of 5G which are beyond high speed. You do low latency, you do network slicing. And I said, I'm not going to talk about 5G here. And he said, I am in the 5G committee of the Prime Minister. So I know this all. So that's the level of awareness in government. And I can tell you some of the projects that we're doing for the government. So government's at an absolute steroid level in terms of adoption of 5G. Test beds are being set up. We just 2 days back, I think it's the first live test of autonomous vehicles done by IIT Hyderabad. They have this technology innovation hub for autonomous vehicles, autonomous navigation. And they ran that on 5G and drones on 5G. So it's here and now. Government clearly up the stake. When it comes to small medium business, they haven't started truly enjoying the benefits of 5G, but they will soon, when instead of fiber optic cable landing into the premise, you have what we have a product called Air Fiber, where you just deploy a Alexa looking box and it delivers you 800 Mbps to even 2 gigabits. So that's when the SMBs who are starved of fiber will get access to high speed connectivity. And that's what will bring alive the entire digitization for the SMBs.
So during the day, I met some people here who were very apprehensive about how 5G is going to pan out. And at the same time, I met people who are here and they are actually talking to customers about deploying private 5G networks. So everybody is there in this. I would like to know from you specific uh, cases, if you can share with us, without really, if you don't want to take names, if you can talk about specific use cases, so that there is some confidence and there is some, as you say, proof of concept feeling that people get about what's happening as far as 5G is concerned.
Sure. So rather than the use case, because use cases tend to differ, but I would talk about the early adopters
Okay.
in terms of
Yeah.
industry. We are seeing significant traction in manufacturing, mining, ports and utilities. These are, and logistics. These are the 3 or 4 segments where you're seeing significant traction. Mines, people want to set up a private network or an enterprise network to do worker track and trace 200 meters below the Earth's surface, so that you know where your miner is at any point in time, how many vehicles are inside the mining compound. So these are some of the use cases that you are seeing with the 5G. Autonomous guided vehicles in warehousing and manufacturing facilities, another use case that you're seeing in manufacturing. Plus, if a manufacturing plant has to be redesigned or a new assembly line needs to be set up, you don't want to do wiring. And if you want reliable communication, you're not sure whether Wi-Fi will deliver that. So combination of low latency and edge compute with 5G standalone truly offers is what's making manufacturing companies look at 5G very seriously.
Okay. So coming to Geo as a service provider, as an operator, what are some of the steps that Geo is taking as far as reaching out to business customers?
So I think post IMC, where it was a huge draw last October, we've created an experience center in Mumbai. And in fact, every day we have 2 to 3 delegates, or when I say delegates, companies with their leadership visiting the experience center, because then we're truly bringing alive, and we're not talking of connectivity. We are talking of solving a
Problem.
customer problem, business problem. So we are showcasing those. Uh, we have a company called Asteria Aerospace, which is into drones. We're showing how drones with 5G work. So to solve a perimeter security, but this perimeter security takes a new definition now of aerial intelligence through drones. So we are showcasing that, and we're reaching out to customers. Customers are making actually a beeline to us. I'm sure they would be talking to others as well about how 5G can solve their specific business problem. Government is not behind at all. We've had delegations from various state governments also wanting to understand what they can do in 5G. In fact, we're doing another big project with Uttarakhand government for again 5G.
What is it about? What is the project about? If you
So
can
they're
share.
setting up a test bed to trial out various use cases for the Uttarakhand government. And in fact, the Prime Minister's office has taken a huge step in terms of every department has been given a list of, they have to create a list of use cases they're going to deploy. They've been given a grant saying you will have to spend money on 5G. And I think that's the difference between a 3G, 4G or a 5G. It's the realization that 5G can solve more than just high speed. It solves business problems because of low latency. It solves compute problems through edge compute. It allows you to do massive machine-to-machine communication. Those features weren't possible in 4G. So that's what is kind of driving this.
Okay. So at this point, I will ask if anybody here has a question or any remark or any specific thing that they would want Prateek to take up. Anybody here? Yeah, please. Can we have a mic for?
Sir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, the plain question is, soon we are going to have Delhi to Bombay expressway. It's a greenfield expressway, and there is no communication link available at present. For a new set of drivers, new set of vehicles, new set of technology, and new set of use cases will be coming up. How we can see that 5G technology is available on this new expressway?
I'll just give you another example. We today possibly deliver the biggest mobile connection to one company in the world. That's Railways. We've connected more than 700,000 employees and yet another few lakhs of their family members. One of the condition of that requirement of Railways was that 98% of the railway tracks have to be covered with 4G, and now they are asking to be covered with 5G. So we've done that, right? We've solved for the railway tracks which run into few lakh kilometers in the country. Pretty much that's what we will do for the highways as well. So rest assured, you will have 5G on the highway, whichever highway you're referring to. You would see 5G by the end of this year. We already 400 cities plus. Our chairman's promises that we'll deliver it to every district, headquarter, taluka by end of December 2023.
Thank you.
And just while on that topic, I talked about railways, talked about the highway. We just enabled an offshore rig 25 kilometers into the sea. Now, mind you, people who are on the rig, they have no way of communicating with their family members, probably voice and text, but no video. Now, those employees who are staying on the rig can do a video call with their families. And we just made that live a couple of days back. So that's a use case. It's not restricted to land. You're solving for offshore rig. And these are classic use cases, right? You're talking of a use case?
Yeah.
How do people staying on the rig talk in an immersive way, in a video? How do they do video communication with their family members in the mainland?
Any other question before I ask Prateek some questions? Any other question? Come on, 5G and private 5G is so hot. Everybody's talking about it. Okay,
I think
so
they sold on Shivaji's presentation before.
just let me ask you a personal question, Prateek. What really excites you about 5G? What is your vision? What is your dream of how 5G is really going to change the way we live, the country?
So the way I see 5G is a great unifier. It breaks digital divide, and I'll tell you what what I mean by that. Today, fiber in the country is limited, and while we are today the largest fiber company in the country, we're connecting close to 500,000 customers on a monthly basis. It's still not ubiquitously available. So while Nehru Place may have 5G, Kalkaji may not, or
Yeah.
may have fiber, Kalkaji may not, right? Because it's in commercial clusters. So the big companies, large enterprises will always have the benefit of fiber to their premises because they're in concentrated clusters. SMBs are everywhere. And mind you, if you do not have a good fiber connectivity, you're not able to do many things as SMB. For example, if I want to do a surveillance of my office or my store when I'm not there, how do I do that if there's no good fiber connectivity or a broadband connectivity? So there are many things that they are not able to realize because they are dispersed everywhere. 5G will enable a fiber experience to every part of the country, and that's what will see the adoption. You talked of how would SMBs benefit from this? It's SMBs will come on an equal footing to the large enterprise in terms of access to quality broadband.
Okay.
And that's what will enable video cases. I'm saying, data and text is okay. It's video that will change the way SMBs use it, and 5G will enable that for the SMB customers.
Okay. So let me ask you one more question, and that also got triggered by somebody who talked about, especially for private 5G networks for enterprises or mid-sized organizations. See, everybody is now talking about cost optimization. Then a multi-vendor environment is also a reality today. So in such circumstances, what do you think are the kind of challenges that companies are going to face if they have to think of deploying 5G private networks or
See, this is a new fad, the concept of private 5G. I don't know where that's coming from because the customers that we talk to, they want to deploy a network, but they are in no mood to manage that network. They don't want to be a telecom operator. So, most customers we see today are saying, do it as a service for me. Network as a service, 5G as a service. So, private 5G, all the benefits of private 5G can be realized by telecom providers offering 5G as a service, creating a network, because who wants to do the operations of a telco? It's not easy, right? And every industry wants to stick to its core, and they are looking for managed service partners who can provide all of that in an OpEx model. They don't have to take capital expenditure risk and the technology risk. So they are very happy to lean on to a telecom operator who will provide this as a service to them. So you will see private 5G or enterprise 5G, but it would be, we believe, all as a service. Nobody's going to do deployment of a network and manage it themselves and create a team now to manage a network.
okay. Yeah. If I ask you about differentiating Geo from the other operators or other service providers as far as 5G is concerned, so what would be those differentiators, or what would be those things which you think would really give a lot of additional and new value to the existing or potential customers?
So I think the differentiator is very clear, right? There are two ways to deploy a 5G network. what is called as a standalone network and a non-standalone. Now, standalone network is a network where both the radio that your handset or your sensor is talking to, as well as the core, is 5G. Whereas in a non-standalone, the core is 4G.
Yeah.
So the true benefits of 5G do not accrue in a non-standalone mode. We are the only network, we are the only service provider in the country who's deploying a standalone mode, which makes our network, by the way, far more expensive than anybody else in terms of deployment cost. But the benefits of 5G will only accrue when, so it's like you have a good looking luxury car, but the engine that is powering it is the same old engine. You will not be able to realize the benefits. And that's what is the single biggest differentiator. You want to realize low latency, you want to create network slicing, you want to have massive machine to machine communication and high speed. All of that will get done only with a standalone network. So you would ask, why would somebody do a non-standalone? Because it's cost effective. But there's no option. Everyone has to move to a standalone mode at some point in time. We've taken the call upfront, just like we did a few years back when we took the call on 4G and VoLTE. We took the call, we invested upfront so that the true benefits of 5G get realized with the standalone mode.
So one more time, I'll ask the audience here if they have any questions, and then I'll ask Prateek the final question. Any questions? Any remarks on whatever he has said so far?
I think the audience is sold on the standalone mode.
Yeah, Mr. Goel. Can we have the mic for Mr. Goel, please?
It's not a question,
Yes,
but
sir.
I'm taking liberty of using this as a platform to complement you as a whole. Because you have changed the India, you have changed the consumers, you have changed the system, you have changed everything what we have learned so far for telecom. You are giving services across everywhere at the lowest cost. Thank you.
Thank you. It's really humbled to hear those words, sir. Thank you.
Himanshu, you have a question there. Can we have the mic for it, please?
I have a very simple question. US, Europe, South Korea, even China, they have really led the 5G race, and I think China is quite ahead in terms of the adoption of 5G. Especially from the private 5G perspective for enterprises, do you see one specific use case which Reliance would have learned from these big deployments, which you would want to prioritize in the country?
I don't think it's every technology people ask about a killer app, and there's never a killer app. It's a cocktail of apps as the ecosystem. I wouldn't hazard a guess here as to whether there's one use case that will be the bullet or the silver bullet for 5G adoption. It will vary industry to industry. It will vary country to country because of what I said, cost economics. But we're very bullish. Some green shoots coming, especially in the industries that I talked about, manufacturing, mining. Those will be the early adopters. But I wouldn't say there's one use case that will kind of solve the private 5G enterprise story here.
We have run out of time, so I can take one more question if there is. Otherwise, I'll ask my last question, and then we can wrap up. Okay, my final question to you, Prateek, and this is that today, and I want a very honest answer. Today,
I've been giving honest answers.
Today, how many enterprise customers do you have, and in the next 12 months, where do you see this number going?
We have our board meeting coming up. I'm not allowed to give these numbers. Yeah. What I would say is, I think early days, good traction across industries and government, but I'll not fall into the number trap here. But what I can say is, a year from now, you would see a significant landscape. We are no longer talking only conversations or use case. We are doing actual deployments as we speak today. And we are doing commercial pilots now, commercial deployments. So hopefully next year when we meet, we can talk over the numbers.
Certainly, certainly. Thank you so much, Prateek. Very nice talking to
Thank
you.
you.
And
Thanks,
best of
Ibrahim.
luck.
Thanks.